Welcome to Tone Talks. Welcome to Tone Talks. Welcome to
What
Tone
up,
Talks.
y'all? We about to have the discussion today. Everybody been telling me about Diddy for about 5 years now, and I've been telling y'all it's a problem here. It's a problem here. Let everybody fall in here so we can have this discussion together. I want to give a place where we can get some information because a lot of people talking and rambling, and a lot of people that don't know. For those people that don't know, my name's Attorney Antonio Moore, a licensed attorney here in Los Angeles. I was nominated for Emmy on a documentary I did on Freeway Rick Ross and Rick Ross the rapper. And essentially, also, I've done probably more shows about Black celebrity and in particular framing Diddy and the reality of selling Ciroc, this liquor, and signing this memorandum of understanding that I believe undercut racial progress by giving him a channel over the realities of dealing with what Comcast was and is doing to Black Americans in terms of business, and so many other elements. And one of those also is in regard to his main thing, which is music and like how he treated his artists. And a lot of people, a lot of particularly men in the manosphere, they got huff puff. The chest got out. You just hating. I got enough fans and audience where it don't matter. They will cut you down. I got my own Tone Talks people and my own ADOS people, and some of them cross over. So you bring the heat if you want to. So I'm going to open the phone lines up, 310-388-3499, and you bring your in here if you want to. But don't get mad if you get bit. I want to talk today and frame this thing, because what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about this accusation of human trafficking and rape by Cassie. Cassie has come forward. I want us to parse through some of her accusations. I want us to get honest. I want us to allow the information to speak for itself. We're not going to be conspiratorial. Again, I'm not coming here for legal advice, but I am here to evaluate this thing as an attorney. Oh, yeah. So a lot of you guys will come in here, whether it's with the vitriol of feminism or the manosphere nastiness of judging her as being someone that's grabbing for money without letting the facts speak for themselves. I don't need neither one of those. What I need today is for us to have a space where we can look at what did we just hear in the last few hours about Diddy, meaning Sean Combs, meaning the guy you guys have projected as this billionaire achievement that I continually told you guys. So liquor, goddamn vodka to y'all. The guy that, to me, they used an ad campaign to get a Black American that had moved away from liquor back into liquor and made him look like Joe Campbell to do it. And a lot of you guys seem like you didn't understand. Well, what I'm reading in this article, or these articles, in particular, I'm going to go through the New York Times, which is a very, very thorough piece, is a story about a monster. Now, a lot of us have heard whispers about him being a monster. Well, this lays it out. A lot of us have dealt with, do I even want my child in that industry because of what I hear? Meaning singing and rapping and dancing and all of the rest. Well, today we hear about specific allegations and move away from conspiratorial ramble. Cassie's filed a civil claim. Now, I'll talk to you in a second about whether that can lead to a criminal accusation as well. I need us to have a professional, but also an in-house conversation today about Diddy, the hero that you made out of peanut butter and wet cotton candy and old ass socks. You done put all that shit together and made a hero. I want to talk today. So it broke a couple hours ago and everybody's struggling to understand. I still think that we should get some answers. It's a lot of people that have aligned themselves with him to do business. Well, what is your answer today, Charlemagne and the Breakfast Club on Revolt? What is your answer today? We're going to get to it today. Al Sharpton and the Congressional Black Caucus, who only a month and a half ago stood with him on the stage and proclaimed him as this great person and everything else. What is your answer today, Mark Morial? I want to hear from you. If not today, very, very soon, the Urban League. What is your position on how and why you stood next to this man? Now, we're going to have to let some of the facts come out, but It's not looking good. So again, Diddy sued by ex-girlfriend Cassie, and we know that that's his ex-girlfriend because of all of the photos and the events and the years and years he's been with her. She alleged rape, abuse, and human trafficking. Now I got a lot of people coming in the chat right now, and I want you guys to understand what I see coming next. It don't matter. He finished. He finished. Let me tell you why. They, in my view, will do him the same way they did R. Kelly. Oh, Lifetime finna do a series on him or a documentary or something where they expose all. It's just too much fat here. If you thought R. Kelly was bad, Diddy is gonna be worse. It's just Diddy everywhere. So as we look at this thing, there is the court of public opinion, there is the civil court, and then we're gonna see if it goes to like a jury and there's a criminal set of accusations here. Let's get right into the discussion. Let's get right into the discussion. The queue is filling up. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Hey, give me your take on this. You the first woman to talk. I want to hear from the ladies. What do you think about this?
Okay. My name is Taylor. I'm from Delaware. So Cassie, when she recorded Me and You in 2006, she was 17 years old, and that's when the song dropped. And so I just thought that was gross. And the song's literally about like sex, and she's 17, and that's the year again the song dropped. So she could have recorded it a year before, or like,
yeah, but let me be clear. I'm less about generalities right now. I want to get to the specifics of Diddy and Cassie. What do you think about these allegations? How do you feel about them if true? Give me your take as a woman.
My take as a woman, I mean, he has a long history of womanizing. Like, he's been dealing with a lot of women and with huge age gaps. Like, I'm sure because a man makes more money that he has access to more women, but he always seems very exploitive.
Okay. Well, look, I'm gonna give you one last thing. Give me your last thing you want to say to the audience about this thing, because I think it's gonna go to Lifetime. What you think?
Absolutely.
You gonna watch?
Thank you so much.
You gonna watch on Lifetime? I'm gonna be tuned in. Look, I'm gonna bring in somebody, and I call her. She's kind of a quasi expert. I'm a qualifier. This is Tone Talks. What's your name? Where you calling from? So let me qualify this. So this is my cousin Kia. Kia, she was an intern with Luda and with Lala at the radio station in Atlanta. In that they were all three together, close friends with Luda, as I understand. And I'm not at all saying her opinions are going to tie to Luda at all. But she was right there at the center of this whole rap thing. I think she background danced for TLC sometimes, close with Andre 3000. I just know she know all about this hip hop. So I brought her in just to kind of give her opinion on the lay of the land, to the extent that she feels comfortable about Diddy and Cassie and what's been going on in this industry. Go ahead.
Okay, so I've known P. Diddy, or whatever you call him, since I was 15, 16 years old. And I have worked with him before. I would never say that he has done anything to me, but being in the music industry for over 20 years, I've always had these conversations to my cousin. I said, if everybody thinks that R. Kelly was bad, wait till they get some tough.
So let me stop this, because I don't want to end up in no Jada Pinkett lawsuit, you know. So let's speak to like how you feel about this, because he's gonna be. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna put the business out here, but what I'm saying is this is bigger than Cassie. Cassie is the catalyst for this. She's the comic. She's going to get karma for everybody that has been victimized who is no longer here because of this dude. Okay? If you listen to some of the wording in her in the deposition, you can listen, you can pay attention to some of the wording she has in there that she's alluding to this.
Mm.
than just Cassie.
Mm.
Okay? It's a lot of good fun. It's a lot of things. It's bigger than Puffy actually because he was victimized.
Mm.
I was around these people since I was a kid.
Mm.
16 years old, and I've seen a lot. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's all I got to say. You know, I'm a real estate agent just thinking about this to a house, but we'll talk later, cousin.
All right. Thank you so much for calling in. I wanted to get her to come in. I think this is bigger too. But I'm gonna just speak to laying things out and give you guys a chance to. She was on her way to sell a house. That's why the phone was like that. But I want you guys to understand the realities of this of what we're seeing right now. And Diddy, you guys are calling these grown people these names, Diddy and all kind of other little nicknames, and they be damn near 60 years old. But also, we're looking at a civil case and we're saying, well, where's the criminal allegations? Well, I want you guys to understand that Cassie specifically, and I'll talk about the actual the actual article that came out in her statement. But in her statement, she talks about something specifically, and she talks about this: the Adult Survivors Act is New York State's legislation enacted in May 2022, which amends state law to allow alleged victims of sexual offenses for which the statute of limitations has lapsed to file civil suits for a 1 year period from November 24th, 2022 to November 24th, 2023. So if you were going to bring a civil claim, they give you so many years to bring it. Well, what they did is they gave a state law that gave you a window, even though yours had lapsed, just for rape, just for sexual offenses, where you could actually bring the claim. Well, she had to bring it within the next week because after 2020, they were giving them 1 year to come in and bring these claims. So we don't know what was going on as far as discussions this last year. But whatever happened, she decided to bring that truth to the table. And she had to bring it now because after this week, if the statute of limitations had lapsed, she couldn't bring it at all. The Adult Survivors Act. So when you ask why did she bring it now? Well, she might not have been able to bring it before, and there might have been other discussions we don't know about. Don't mean that it's not real. So all the manosphere dudes, you not a lawyer. Now, in addition, as to the criminal charges, we look at it by states. So looking at the new state law in New York, it extended in 2019 statute limitations for rape from 5 years. So before that, you had to bring it within 5 years to and I'm gonna read it. New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo signed legislation Wednesday that extends the statute of limitations for certain cases of rape and other sex crimes. He was joined at the signing by actresses who have been active in the Time's Up movement, which aims to combat sexual harassment. Under the new law, the statute of limitations for reporting second-degree rape increases to 20 years, and third-degree rape increases to 10 years. Now, I'm not going to get into the differences of what a first degree, a second degree, and a third degree is. What I will tell you is that based on different acts, they will have to look at that, meaning the DA and the detective there in New York, and see if it falls within statute and see if they can bring criminal charges. So they'll need to figure out whether those acts fall in within the statute of limitations. So 2023 takes us back to 2021 for second degree. 2023 takes us back to 2013 for a third degree. So when you're asking the question, why isn't there criminal charges? There's more facts that we need to know, that the DA needs to know, that the district attorney, the detectives need to know to figure out whether it fits within statute for rape charges or sexual offense charges. Can I get a clap? So again, today we're talking about Diddy. He's sued by ex-girlfriend Cassie for alleged rape, abuse, human trafficking. We're giving a context that the reason she brought it now is because there was a 1 year window that was opened up in state law to allow for people who are past statute civilly to bring these charges. And her window was going to close November 24th, 2023. As you know, it's November 16th. Can we talk? And you ain't trying to get in there before Thanksgiving next week. You don't know that the court be closed or whatever. So today was the day. Okay. So you guys have been lauding this guy, have been lionizing this guy, and now it comes time to question this guy and his acts. He comes out with this Love album in 2023. As I understand it, didn't do too well. Well, now it's time to answer some questions, Love, Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, about how you got here, how you got in front of us, what's been going on. Did this happen with Cassie? If it happened with Cassie, should you be around anymore? Again, I come to you today not to speak from no manosphere and no masculinity, toxic or not. And I don't come to you to hear feminists bash about how all black men do anything. We're talking about this man today, Sean Diddy Combs. And if anything, we're extending to a larger discussion about the problems with black celebrity. I need you guys to see it today. I need you guys to talk about it. Mr. Combs woke up and followed her into the hallway, and these are allegations, where he threw glass vases at her, sending glass shattering throughout the corridor, according to the court filing. The hotel's security cameras captured that incident, but the suit says Mr. Combs paid the hotel $50,000 for the footage. This is the New York Times. We're going to go through a longer reading of the article, but I just wanted to give you a taste. This is the acts, if true, of a monster. When you look at the reality of what has happened, is they have set up a secondary boule class, lowly educated, to hoard over wealth and provide a cover over the realities that black folks are locked out in this country. That's just my view. And this is one monstrous extension of that. Can we get to it? Do y'all know about the Kid Cudi and the blowing up of the car, allegedly? So Kid Cudi's supposed to have been dating the girl, and when Kid Cudi, and we'll get to it, when Kid Cudi is dating the girl, supposedly Diddy blew up his car. Lord, this is in the New York Times. I want to get to it today. 310-388-3499. I want to hear your voice on this topic. Boy, oh boy, I'm coming to you with a pop-up because this just happened. And in part also, just to reiterate, I've been one of the most critical people on black celebrity, but in particularly Sean Diddy Combs, from the selling of the liquor to how he did his artists to so many other elements of what Diddy represents to me. So just time to bring home the horses and talk about what we're seeing right now. Frame it all. And also, I just didn't want this conversation, as I see a lot of people struggling with it, to get away from the facts. What are the laws? What is the statute of limitations criminally? What is the law she's using and why is she bringing it now? All of these questions you can read, but now you can just watch this video and get it. You don't have to make it up. You don't have to make it up at all. It's my belief Diddy is finished. I believe that the energy, regardless of outcome, that will come to dig into these topics, to do exposés, to do documentaries, in addition, just overall the scale and time with these accusations may lead to more people coming out and will also lead to a public opinion trial unlike anything we've seen, including R. Kelly. I need you to see it. Thank you so much, Deborah. 310-388-3499 if you want to talk. I understand if you just want to listen and you're just trying to digest this because you remember this man from when you were young and he was a hero. He ain't never been my hero. But let's go through this article, this New York Times, because if you just saw the TMZ or you just seen like a small news blog site or you just seen an image, you don't understand. You are already talking to yourself and to other people and you don't know what happened. You think you know, but you don't know what happened. Now, these are allegations. These are from the court documents, but you got to know that before you form an opinion. Sean Combs is accused by Cassie of rape and years of abuse in lawsuit. In the suit, the singer says Mr. Combs, known as Puff Daddy or Diddy, subjected her to a pattern of control and abuse over about a decade. Mr. Combs vehemently denied the allegations. Now, we have to be honest. And that's hard for a lot of people because they are not honest with themselves. Part of the reason that this is sitting is it sits in a larger ethos of what we know happened with Jadakiss and his group, the Locks, what happened with Mace and his album and his career, what happened with Bad Boy as a whole. That is part of what is allowing us to see and form our own opinion, is what we have been told and what we've been shown as facts about this guy in business. I want to talk today. Sean Combs, the producer and music mogul, has been one of the most famous names in hip hop for decades, was sued in federal court on Thursday by Cassie, an R&B singer who once signed to his label, who accused Mr. Combs of rape and repeated physical abuse over about a decade. To do something like this to somebody for a decade, that is some nefarious stuff. That is some planned, regularly oriented stuff. It is a different level of heinous act. I want to talk today. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Brandy. I'm from LA.
Give me your take.
My thing is, I feel like the veil is falling off of Hollywood. This type of thing has been going on for years. We've heard, you hear the rumors rumbling around about things that happen, and then there's confirmation when the people who are tired of dealing with it finally come out and say something about it. So I truly believe everything that Cassie. I don't think she's lying at all.
And that's all we can say. And I think a lot of people, this is the problem. And I said this the other day about Whoopi Goldberg and the online space. You guys listen to a lot of high school dropouts, and there's a reason why I bring that up in particular. Is look, none of us know the facts, but we can gather the information. But we got to read to get the information. My show today is about us going through the actual New York Times article and not just looking at TMZ or not just looking at an image on the Shade Room. It's about us sitting down as Black men and Black women and then not using this to say all Black men do this to Black women and all Black women just want money from Black men. Let's look at these celebrities and see what they've been doing. You feel me? Caller? Caller? All right, seems like she dropped off listening to the show. I didn't hear you. You dropped off. I'm sorry. Call back and I'll bring you back. I didn't know what was going on, but nonetheless, I got a full queue. I want to get to a bunch of callers. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Malik from DC.
Give me your take, Malik.
Yeah. So me personally, I am a fan of Diddy, but I do think his time has come. I think he's been in the industry too long. I think he's upset too many people in the higher ups that he hasn't played ball with something they want to do. So now they've been doing a systematic takedown of him. Slowly with the Tupac thing, with the Ciroc thing, with this Cassie thing. It all seems like it's starting to line up. He must have did something that they don't agree with. And I think it's his time. They're going to try to find something on him.
Okay, man. I respect your opinion. I'm gonna let you go ahead. Go ahead.
But yeah, I'm gonna say this. I do think he has done a lot, inspiring Black people in America in terms of ownership.
Ownership of what though?
Just the way I like the Black.
But ownership of what? He didn't own Ciroc. He just told us he did. Ownership of Bad Boy. He didn't own that. I think he played the veil. He showed us how to be a piece. Even like when you look at Revolt and how he got Revolt. I want to make sure everybody understands because we've been doing this for some years. Memorandum of Understanding was actually an answer to Byron Allen's lawsuit. They go to Sharpton and they get him and the president, I believe, of the NAACP at the time and the Urban League, and they go around and they find Magic and Diddy and they give him part ownership with some other people we don't know about. And they say we got Black people that own TV channels.
Hello. Yeah. Well, Well, I was talking about in terms of bad boy. You know, as a young, I grew up in the mid '90s in Brooklyn in high school, so we saw them come up. You know, Jay Z, Diddy, all of them, and they were young. They had record labels, and they started their clothing companies. Whether they owned 100% of it or not, it was the fact that if they're doing something with ownership, it encouraged me to start getting into real estate, owning real estate, starting my own business because they influenced me. I looked at the ownership part, not so much of the flashy luxury thing,
Okay.
but in terms of just
No, I respect
just
that,
getting
Carl.
a young
Carla,
person
I mean, I
into
see, I see where you're going. I see where you're at with the message. I just don't think that this is the
yeah.
messenger for that. I believe that when we talk about Jay-Z, you can't talk about ownership without talking about Uber. You can't talk about ownership without talking about rent to own. You can't talk about ownership with what he's trying to do with all that housing where he sell you a piece of the house. I don't believe in these people. Carla, I respect you, and I think I respect your respectfulness in the call. I'm gonna let you go. But I'm just telling you, when we get to the middle of it, if at the end of the day you don't do Mace right, you might as well get off my TV. And I'm not saying that your job is to do Mace right. But if you selling that you about black empowerment and that stuff to young black men, you don't think they watching you when you do Mace wrong? Come on. This is karma, baby. Can I get a clap? Can we talk about it? I just want to get into the discussion because I want to have the discussion again. I framed that the statute of limitations in New York has extended for rape 10 years third degree, 20 years for second degree. And if they can fit it in that 20-year second degree, he might have a real problem with some criminal charges coming. So for those people that don't know, it ain't forever like a murder. So like they got to go and look at the facts and see what year and piece that together and make sure that she gonna testify. They need to do that, in my view. Now, in addition, civilly, they created a window, and she's cutting into the end of that window. I believe they've been talking for the last year or so because this allowed her to finally have a voice. I'm not here to judge whether what she said is 100% true. That'll be decided. What I am here to do is say, this is being said. And this is some real stuff if the New York Times decided to print it. If this is here, understand there's some digging to be done here. We don't have no black media, so we got to rely on white media. But again, part of the reason we don't have no black media because all black media got eaten up by celebrity. They can't do nothing if they don't cover celebrities. Old celebrities from 40 years ago. Diddy been around since 97, 2023. That's a lot of years. That's 25 years you've been here. Smokey was gone by then. Wasn't nobody trying to hear Smokey Robinson in 95. Again, Mr. Combs woke up and followed her into the hallways where he threw a glass vase at her. Paid the hotel purportedly $50,000 for the footage. Let's get right into this discussion about Sean Combs from the New York Times, and I'll come to the callers. Please don't hang up. I got a queue filling up, 310-388-3499. I'll come to you in a second. In the suit filed in federal district court in Manhattan, Cassie, whose real name is Cassandra Ventura, and who had long been Mr. Combs' romantic partner, says that not long after she met him in 2005, when she was 19, he began a pattern of control and abuse that included plying her with drugs, beating her, and forcing her to have sex with a succession of male prostitutes while he filmed the encounters. In 2018, the suit says, near the end of their relationship, Mr. Combs forced his way into her home and raped her. The dates matter here. In 2018, the suit says, near the end of their relationship. So, and it raped her. So the rape is from 2018. It's only 2023. Back in 2019, it was a 5-year statute of limitations. But now, even if that's a third degree, that's well within the 10 years to bring a rape charge in New York. The reason why we know it's in New York is because the civil case is being brought in Manhattan, because that is probably the nexus of the locations and everything of the sort. So he might be facing some criminal charges soon. New York State, new state law extends the statute of limitations for rape in New York. Second degree rape increased to 20 years, and third degree rape increased to 10 years. She's saying the rape was in 2018. So, you do the math. I just want to talk today. Can we level up and not just have a random discussion you're going to see on some other channels? In 2018, the suit says, near the end of their relationship, Mr. Combs forced his way into her home and raped her. After years in silence and darkness, Miss Ventura said in the statement, I'm finally ready to tell my story and to speak on behalf of myself for the benefit of other women who face violence and abuse in their relationships. Let me say this to all the men out there. We'll never be pregnant. So you can't tell a woman how much pregnancy hurts. What I will tell you is too often you will start to speak on this woman and why she came out right now without a true understanding that you might not never understand why she came out right now because you were not a woman and did not go through that trauma. If somebody is abused, man or woman, by their parents, you can't say why you didn't say something to your parents. Now, he's not her parent, but she was 19 years old. These old men got to stop taking advantage of these women from positions of power, and then we judge it like why she didn't just stand up to him. We don't know how she viewed him at that young age. After years in silence and darkness, Miss Ventura said in a statement, I am finally ready to tell my story and to speak up on behalf of myself and for the benefit of other women who face violence and abuse in their relationships. In response, a lawyer for Mr. Combs, Ben Brofman, said Mr. Combs vehemently denies these offensive and outrageous allegations. For the past 6 months, Mr. Combs has been subjected to Ms. Ventura's persistent demand of $30 million under the threat of writing a damaging book about the relationship, which was unequivocally rejected as blatant blackmail. Despite withdrawing her initial threats, Ms. Ventura has now resorted to filing a lawsuit riddled with baseless and outrageous lies, aiming to tarnish Mr. Combs' reputation and seeking a payday. Douglas Witter, a lawyer for Ms. Ventura, said the parties had spoken before the suit was filed. Mr. Combs offered Ms. Ventura 8 figures to silence her and prevent filing of this lawsuit. If that's true, boy, oh boy, must be some facts here. Let me take another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Rashid from Laurel, Maryland.
Hey, give me your take on it, Rashid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, so my thing is this. She given the new law, she has ample time to make her claim. So I think it's valid. I believe we got to find out if anything is true. It's got to go through court and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I could definitely believe that this person is the type of person to do these crimes. My girlfriend actually wanted to say something too.
Okay.
Hello.
We got the first Tone Talks tag team. Shout out to y'all listening to the show together. Give me your take.
So I will be honest with you. I usually just study like celebrity news and gossip, but he had the group Nancy Kane, and he made all of them sign an NDA, like a non-disclosure agreement. Basically, they couldn't talk about what happened in the group, how they didn't get paid, like all the treatment that was dealt, and basically he was gonna give them a couple grand. Give them that money, and then they won't speak on it. But one of the ladies actually decided to not take the money because it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
And actually spoke on mistreatment in there. Also, he released a lot of royalties, like Mace. I think I want to say.
It was a couple other artists. I seen a video. Where the artist said part of the royalties. Let me just say one thing.
Yeah.
Part of what he was saying, what this artist was saying. And this is what you got to watch out for when these people open housing and all this stuff. Get the facts before you share it out around the world. What the artist was saying that was assigned to Bad Boy was that the documentation was really a way to get NDAs on people so that this kind of stuff, if it comes out, they can't speak. So this is coming on. So you give out the royalties and you make the royalties, even though they pennies now, have the NDA in there so that then when this hit, they can't speak in the documentary.
Exactly. That's basically, you said you worded better than I could. Yeah, but that's basically what happened. So, and a lot of people like from this generation, like I want to say the Gen Z, don't know about P. Diddy's, shadiness, like him, dating Cassie when she was young. Like the age gap was crazy. Every person he's produced, has failed because he doesn't invest in them or he does shady investments. He tried to change his, persona from P. Diddy to Brother Love, and a lot of people try to see the good that he's doing, like, oh, he gave him the royalties, but no one's really checking for his mates right now. Like I might do that because I'm from the '90s here and there, but no average person is checking for his music, so it's not going. He's not getting nothing out of it. So, and then he also, stole money from, the original group called the Police, and he doesn't get any money from that when he made the song dedicated to Big. So my thing, he's always been a shady character. So I never thought he would be this shady. I'm not gonna lie, this is shocking to me. But I knew he was always like not to be trusted. That's all.
Let me ask y'all about this. Let me ask y'all about this before y'all get off the phone. What do you feel about these artists that's been here? I watch Five Heartbeats, and these are basically Flash from the Five Heartbeats when they at the end, and right, Flash still on TV. This is what this really is. So what do you think about what these artists represent? And I'm gonna say specifically, if true, what does this make you feel like about Diddy? If this is all true, these allegations.
Well, I feel like honestly, the allegations is just the typical Hollywood narrative. People use their power to gatekeep and influence other like younger artists, like basically take advantage of them. And I think this is just a regular case of that. Like, it's basically, it's not based on talent. It's how you can extort people. Same thing with R. Kelly and Aaliyah. Yeah. It's all about how can I extort this artist. And when they came out together, like I said, there was a big age gap, and it was always questionable to me. And she came out when I was in high school, so I just feel like people like him also lying about being the first black-owned business as far as like liquor and stuff like that. People like him, yeah, they just narcissistic. That's all I got.
I think this is our time to instead of acting like the boomers and the older generations before us, where we're just letting people go when they're making songs about assaulting people, that we actually hold people accountable. That we say no, that it's not okay for you to serve us murder porn and all this other garbage. That we actually say no, you've done wrong. We're going to hold you accountable. We're going to listen to your music and not just let you just have artist rights and other stuff. No, we're going to believe victims, and we're going to let them have their day in court. I think this is our time to make a difference.
And let me add to that. What we're seeing is that I don't know if y'all listen to like Suge and him talk about like, man, this is what the label's been doing, talking about like menacing and stuff. We're seeing the effects of believing in Nixonian black business, black super capitalism. The whole idea that black people are gonna do business is that it's gonna be more community oriented. And y'all gonna look out for us. If a white man gonna take advantage of me, I don't need no black man to take advantage of me while trying to hug me. What's happening now is that we have created a community on top of super capitalists that then take advantage of the fact that we built community on top of super capitalism. It don't make no sense. Caller, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much for calling. Both of y'all was great. Look, I want to read some more of this article, get to a couple more callers, and get out of here. I don't want to stay too long, but I wanted to frame the legal parts and then get some of the facts about everything. That was a great call from a couple. If you can listen with your grandmama, with your mama, with your girlfriend, with your boyfriend, you can listen with your goddamn dog or cat if you want to. Just try to listen with somebody you can talk about these things with. Miss Ventura case is the latest in a series of sexual assault civil lawsuits filed recently against prominent men in the music industry, including Steven Tyler of Aerosmith, the executive of L.A. Reid, and Neil Partnow, the former head of the organization behind the Grammy Awards. Mr. Cohn, 54, founded Bad Boy in 1993 and became one of the primary figures in the commercialization of hip-hop. So if we go back, in the 80s, it used to be like if you was an artist, if you was Rick James, I don't even want MC Hammer really like sampling my stuff or nothing, let alone selling goddamn Colt 45 like Billy D. Williams. That was selling out. Well, what these people did, the Diddies of the world, is they made it so you can sell bubble gum. You got Snoop rapping like he in the hood for Grubhub. They selling anything. Niggas are selling damn near the bottom of their feet and the top of their head, and figuratively. What I'm saying to you is that this commercialization led to a sucking away of the very elements of community that allowed somebody like myself and Yvette, like Dr. King did with Black celebrities, to tie in with Black celebrities because they here to sell product, bad ones to y'all. Rent to own, liquor, Uber, Mr. Combs founded Bad Boy in 1993 and became one of the primary figures in the commercialization of hip hop, working with stars like Notorious Big and Mary J. Blige. His net worth has been estimated as high as $1 billion. And last year, Forbes calculated Mr. Combs' annual earnings at $90 million. It won't be that this year because that liquor gone. Amount largely to his former partnership in a liquor brand, Ciroc, that is owned by spirits giant Diageo. For those people that are confused about Diageo, I'll cut in a short clip here of my former show where you can see about like 4 to 5 minutes of me discussing Diddy and Diageo. So we found out yesterday that Diageo, the owners of Ciroc, and many other liquors as well, the people that had Diddy running around for the last 10 to 15 years on yachts showing us black excellence, they have decided they're not playing with you. They're not finna do this accusation of racism and the things of the sort. One, they're gonna end the partnership. Are they just ending De Leon tone, or just, is Diddy gonna still be able to be Ciroc? Because I like the Ciroc. No, they ended everything. We out. They called him his lawsuit a sham, and they exposed some truths about, or let me say, allegations that they made. Allow us to pull out some possible truths. So it's coming out in the documents that Diageo is saying in the court documents, their response, that when we partnered on De Leon, now we went through the extensive realities of this man representing himself as a billionaire while he's selling liquor. He ain't selling potatoes, he ain't selling beef. He's not selling. So you got a society. You can protect the society with weapons. You can feed the society with corn or potatoes. You can expand the society with bridges. He's not doing any of those things, as aren't any other of these black billionaires. But what he is doing is selling liquor. But he don't own the liquor. Diageo own the liquor, and he run and sell it to us. Well, they feel like they got us. You didn't laid out enough little traps. They done learned how to lay the traps out from you. So you showed them how to hustle the community, and now they like, we don't need you no more. So let me get this right. Court documents, AHH News pulled, show Diageo saying all Diddy invested in De Leon Tequila was $1,000. We see Diageo severs ties with Diddy and Ciroc. Claims mogul only invested $1,000 in De Leon. This is all hip hop reported this. Spirits giant Diageo has ended its 15-year partnership with music mogul Sean Diddy Combs following a racial discrimination lawsuit, according to court documents obtained by All Hip Hop. Can we talk today? Diageo. They said what? So continuing on with this article, Sean Combs is accused by Cassie of rape and years of abuse in lawsuit. Mr. Combs, who in his career has variously been known as Puff Daddy, Diddy, and Love, may be the most famous music executive of his generation. But the suit depicts Mr. Combs as a violent person who, beyond repeatedly assaulting Mr. Ventura, asked her to carry his gun in her purse, and the suit suggests he was responsible for blowing up the car of a rival suitor. And I believe that there's supposed murmuring that it was Kid Cudi that they're talking about. In one incident, the suit says Mr. Combs dangled a friend of Miss Ventura's over a 17th floor of hotel balcony. He think he read from goddamn 5 Heartbeats. In naming additional defendants, the court papers assert the others who worked with Mr. Combs had helped him to control Miss Ventura at times by threatening her with retribution, like suppressing her music if she did not obey his orders, or by helping to conceal his behavior. The suit, which names Mr. Combs and a number of his associated companies as the defendant, seeks unspecified damages. According to Ms. Ventura's suit, she was swept into Mr. Combs' jet-set lifestyle not long after meeting him and signing with Bad Boy, which released her debut album. Now comes the other side. If you choose to be part of this industry and part of this life, you got to own that. That don't mean you should get raped. That don't mean you should have sexual abuse. But it do mean you got to walk away. I believe that a lot of good people weren't able to do music because of acceptance of this. You had young women that could sing that said, no, I'm not going to do that. And because you stayed, they had to leave. Y'all got to realize that you got to be together or not at all. So don't ask them to come out now for you. That's my other side of this. You got to be willing to be. It's so many great artists that walked into A&R rooms, and when they got confronted with this jet set lifestyle, said, hold on, my daddy got to talk to you. He ain't accepting none of that. And the moment that daddy's, you ain't finna be no singer. I need us to talk about this whole thing. This whole thing. Come on. It's the decadent veil. Mr. Combs also provided Ms. Ventura with copious amount of drugs, including ecstasy and ketamine, and urged her to take them. She was a grown woman and she took them. Now, if they're going to come out with accusations, and it don't sound like it's very clear from here that he injected her while she was asleep or something like that, that's a whole nother level. If you're a grown woman and you put this in your system, don't act like you didn't choose to swallow it. And urge her to take them, the suit says, and often becomes violent, beating her multiple times. None of that it should have ever happened. This is entirely wrong if it happened by Diddy. Multiple times each year. The suit says Ms. Ventura never went to the police because she feared it would merely give Mr. Combs another excuse to hurt her. In one incident in Los Angeles in 2009, the suit says Mr. Combs became enraged when he saw Ms. Ventura talking to another talent agent, then pushed her into the car and kicked her repeatedly in the face, making her bleed. According to the suit, Mr. Combs then had his staff bring her to a hotel room to recuperate for a week. She asked to go home to her parents, but Mr. Combs refused, the suit says. The suit says that after seeing the violent repercussions of rejecting Mr. Combs and the extent to which he would isolate her from her support network, Ms. Ventura felt saying to no to Mr. Combs would cost her something. You got to be willing to accept that cost. Her family, her friends, her career, or even her life. Now, if it's your life, I understand, but let's start with just the jet setting lifestyle. And though she tried to leave Mr. Combs, the suit says he sent her employees to lure her back. In one incident described in the court papers, Ms. Ventura says that in early 2012, Mr. Combs grew so angry about her dating the rapper Kid Cudi that he said he would blow up the rapper's car around that time. The suit says Kid Cudi's car exploded in his driveway. See, a lot of these men are not very dynamic. You got Diddy doing the stuff from 5 Heartbeats and doing the stuff from one of these Scarface movies. So, Godfather. That's all he could watch. Through a spokeswoman, allegedly, Kid Cudi confirmed Ms. Ventura's account. This is all true. A few years into Ms. Ventura's relationship with Mr. Combs, the suit says he began coercing her to engage in a fantasy of his called voyeurism, in which she was directed to have sex with a succession of male prostitutes, while Mr. Combs watched, masturbated, took pictures, and shot video. According to the suit, Mr. Combs called these encounters freak-offs, which involved costumes like masquerade masks and lingerie. They continued for years, taking place at high-end hotels across the United States and in Mr. Combs' homes. The suit says that he instructed Ms. Ventura to search the websites of escort services to procure male sex workers. Drugs were supplied at these events, which Ms. Ventura's suit says she took because they allowed her to disassociate during these horrific encounters. No. According to the suit, Ms. Ventura would delete videos from these incidents that had been shot on her phone, but Mr. Combs, I guess, brought them back or something of the sort. Was the rest of that? This suit says that as a result of those sexual encounters in different cities, Ms. Ventura was a victim of sex trafficking. The suit also accuses Mr. Combs of sexual battery, sexual assault, and violations of New York City's gender-motivated violence law. Ms. Ventura's suit includes several accounts of her unsuccessful attempts to escape Mr. Combs' control. In one example, the suit says that during a freak-off at Los Angeles hotel in 2016, an intoxicated Mr. Combs punched Ms. Ventura in her face, giving her a black eye. He fell asleep, and she tried to leave the room, but Mr. Combs woke up and followed her into the hallway, where he threw a glass vase at her, sending glass shattering through the corridor. According to the court filings, the hotel security cameras captured the incident, but the suit says that Combs paid the hotel $50,000. Now, there is an element of control and overall just suffocating power, but then there's this other element of you don't want to lose this life. And the balancing act is for us as the court of public opinion, to look at both elements, not to be fair, but to really assess how we see this thing. In no way do you get away from the heinousness of Sean Diddy Combs when you read this thing to me. Let's talk about it. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Jason. I'm calling from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Give me a take on it.
Okay, well, I just want to start off by saying that I'm 45 years old. So I am that generation who saw Diddy in his heyday. Okay? So I think the reason why, like you said before, why he's still in the forefront doing Uber and all these other things, because we're that generation who can't let it go.
Yeah, I believe that you guys don't have wealth. So the baby boomers, the last of the baby boomers, and Gen X is getting old, and you never have wealth, so you just have culture, and you refuse to let it go. I keep coming back to it.
Right.
Y'all got y'all kids wearing Aaliyah to school, but listen to this. Aaliyah died in what year? I believe it was '01. That means nobody in high school was
Yeah.
alive when she died. Nobody.
Exactly.
And they wearing her to school because you telling them in a subtle way over and over again. Go ahead.
Right. And the reason for that is because we're, like I said, we're the generation who's trying to hold on to hip hop as a pure music form, and we are hating on the younger generation, saying, "Oh, that's not music. They're singing. Their clothes are too tight. This, that, and the third." So that's why people like this are still in the forefront because, like I said, we can't let them go. But they're trying to appeal to the younger generation, and these kids ain't going for it. Their music doesn't reach them. It doesn't speak to them. So I feel like it's my generation and older fault for still supporting people like this. But as far as the whole allegations from Cassie, I mean, it's not too far fetched because if you think about this guy's track history and the way he's done business, you know, why would you not think that something like this could possibly happen?
I agree.
It's the music industry.
I agree.
So,
You know, my take on it is again, I've said it before. I just wanted to lay out the facts as they're alleged, allow people to have a
right,
public opinion about it all, to give a space where we move away from extreme male toxicity and extreme feminism without looking at those facts, and also to look at why did she bring the civil charges now? Was there a law, which there is, and she's trying to catch that window, which allow, and then can there be criminal charges? Which it seems like if the rape was in 2018 and it's third degree or more, then they can bring criminal charges. And my hope is that if they do,
right.
if they find enough evidence, I'm gonna let you go, caller. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it.
We doing it today. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Gigi. I'm calling from Detroit.
Give me your take on it.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you've been right about it ever since the very beginning. I've been watching your show for years, and you called it. At the end of the day, all of this needs to go away. All of this black celebrity needs to come down quietly, and we need to start dealing with the reality of the political decisions that were made before us.
Come on, come on. What's your take on
And that's how
if this is true? Just like if all allegations.
if this is true, I mean, it just goes along the lines of Epstein and all the rest of them, and Weinstein. It's all these guys in this certain position of power, and they're using their power and sex to coerce people. I mean, he's a whole pervert stuck in a fantasy land. I mean, come on now, he's doing moves like you said from The Godfather. He pulled it from the Five Heartbeats. I mean, like he's just a crazy megalomaniac. Get it together.
And we allowed him to be that. And we allowed him to be that.
I know. They got him all over the place. They got him up there with Al Sharpton. He's talking about rock the vote or whatever vote he's doing. He's always.
Well, let's frame that. Let's frame that. So we're doing ADOS, and we deal with basically attacks from the top of America. You know, the Harvard paper had to be retracted, and essentially said that I didn't talk about COVID. I talked about COVID first. So after I talk about COVID, this man runs behind, and people be like, "Well, he wasn't watching you." Well, you tell me why he had me on Instagram, coming to his summit, and then he took me off his Instagram. Yeah, because I was going to go hard. I was going to go hard.
Exactly.
And so I come back to. So let me ask you this question. You seem like the right person for the right time. Should the Reverend Al, should Mark Morial, should the Black Caucus, because the Black Caucus had an article a month and a half ago, basically lauding Diddy on their website. It's on the Black Caucus website, this article. Sean Diddy Combs applauds Black leaders' commitment to defending democracy. Should they all have to come out with a statement about this whole accusation?
Of course. They need to distance themselves from him, and they need to put this celebrity craze to bed once and for all. I mean, all of these people, you know, Mark Morial, he bought and paid anyway. The same people that line Diddy line of his too. Same thing with Al Sharpton. All of them people swimming in the same dirty pool. I'm sick of them.
So what should they have
Let them
to
all
say?
go away.
What should they have to say about this? Because this is less than
They
2 weeks
need to say
a month
that
ago.
we don't vet who we put in front of y'all. We don't respect the audience, and we just putting these old rap people in your face trying to get you to forget what we're doing. It's just song and dance to distract from all of the deals that are being made behind closed doors.
Man, thank you so much for
They're giving
calling
away
in.
all of our political clout for pennies on the dollar, for chicken and private plane rides.
Yeah, and then that memorandum of understanding, it gave us channels, and then Diddy started complaining because he didn't really have a channel because he didn't have no subscription fees, and he didn't have the right cities. They wouldn't give him Philadelphia. I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much for calling. I'm gonna take a few more callers. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Awesome. My name is Michael from Chicago. Just a couple of things about this whole situation. I was going to say, he should have paid her to go away, but you already said that he tried to and didn't go away. Diageo, I think, is behind all this because when he blew up with them, all of a sudden all this stuff is starting to come out. And just what other people were saying in regards to celebrities still being around, we got Bill Clinton and the Telecom Act to thank for all this crap. Because prior to that, artists had to compete.
So wait, let's slow that down. I've covered that a number of times. I'm gonna keep it brief this time. So basically, before the Telecom Act of it was 96. Before the Telecom Act, what ended up happening, and my cousin Kia that I had earlier, she was on the radio with Luda, with Lala at the time. What used to happen is that you could only own 3 radio stations. So a lot of black families, particularly the men, own these little stations in Tennessee or in Atlanta, and the reason why is to break up monopolies. Well, Bill Clinton made it so that you can own unlimited stations. So 2 companies came in and bought all the radio. So what they also did is they locked in. These people are not just geniuses. They locked in their position, whoever was here in 98, as being a permanent fixture. And so that's where we're at now. Is like the consequence of not having black media, black radio. Because what used to happen on black radio before is at night it used to be like talk radio like this. Go ahead.
Yeah. Also, with that, and that really that's what goes through prior to that. Because I'm old enough to know, we had acts were being broken on the radio. We had and the older guys who were still around, they had to compete, and usually they got off because they couldn't compete with the new hotness. So that whole telecom thing is messed up the arts, and we see it in the movies, Marvel, and all that stuff. So it's not just with us, but it's messed us up across the board. Also, lastly with Diddy, I probably might be thinking of an escape plan because it don't look good for him. I mean, when I say escape, go to Bali, get the money, put it somewhere else to go.
Yeah, that's I don't speak to superhero talk. I don't know what he's gonna do. I know Russell Simmons is running. Caller, I got a full queue. I'm gonna let everybody get in here. Just giving opinions. Let me try this again. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is I'm calling from Brooklyn, Tone. Can you hear me?
Give me your take.
Yo, Tone, I'm just curious. So a woman can just say,
I don't want to get into that, like what a woman can say and all that manosphere talk. I just want you to speak specifically to the facts of this case. If the allegations are true, I can't tell you that. I'm not that person.
Okay. If the allegations is true, then he should go to jail.
Okay. It's time to bring criminal charges, which I agree. I need the detective. I don't want to see her backing down. Meaning Cassie, I want you to testify to this. I want to see the detective. I want to see the DA. I want to see charges because you are within statute. I agree. I totally agree.
But what about can we see the DNA? Can we get some DNA? Can we get the swab? Can we get the police report?
No, you're not going to get DNA.
Can we get all these?
No.
The rest of the stuff that comes along with it?
No. Maybe you're not understanding why they increased the statute. All right, look, Carl, I'm gonna let you go and explain that offline because I don't want to get into back and forth. What they're saying when they say, let me go back to this because that's what I mean. Like, I think a lot of you guys are pseudo experts. Just accept that you just don't know. When I broke my ankle and I went and seen that doctor, I'm not finna talk to him about what the different bones, how it heals. I don't know. The problem with what has happened with Google is a lot of you guys are pseudo experts, but that leads to decisions and like layouts and stuff. None of that is true. So like what you're talking about is like a murder trial, and the murder happened yesterday, and they went to the murder scene and they picked it. What they're saying by extending the statute of limitations is we're not really just going off of just DNA, because so often these women don't feel comfortable, aren't able, because of the way it is a social crime, rape and sexual offenses, that we're going to extend the statute. See, initially when you had it at 5 years, you were actually trying to tie it to hard evidence more. That's why you have the statute be 5 years. But when you extend it to 20 years, you want to give people a space that might have been dominated to come back 20 years later without DNA and with a series of acts to prove this thing. Now, they still got to prove it, but at the end of the day, if it happened, it happened. No, we don't have to see the DNA. Let's get to it. I don't want to argue today. Not today. I'm not here for that. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, how you doing, Tom?
Give me your take on it.
Yeah. So, Tom, as far as I see it, brother, let me tell you this. Like, I knew something was up when he started offering his masters back to his artist. So I knew he was trying to like kind of move the narrative more in his favor. And then for this,
but not just the narrative. Did you hear earlier, caller? What I said? This lines up, and we're all just spitballing. We're all just. But what the artists were saying, and there's several videos, was that there were NDAs inside of the masters. So to get the masters back, you had to sign that you wouldn't do, say, a documentary like this. So if this is going on,
right?
Yeah. So if this discussion is going on, he's setting it up where you can't be in a Cassie documentary with Lifetime and getting there through giving you the carrot of your masters. Go ahead.
It seems diabolical, you know. It seems like he seems like an arch villain kind of in this situation. But also just with the celebrity culture, I want to touch on that. In America, it's so skewed. I feel like we're so involved with our celebrities and the media and things that when the terrorists decided that what's the best thing for us to do is knock down some Twin Towers. Well, really, what if they had gone to the Oscars and did something there? I really felt like that would have hit more at home, because we are so centered on celebrity, and it's like they need more to us than our leaders do.
Yeah, I mean that's what me and Yvette dealt with. Absolutely. There's no reason that me and Yvette should not be at the largest frame of discussing not just reparations, but the entire framing of what it is to be ADOS in America. But because you guys love celebrity, well, celebrity can be sent to like tell us with blue checks or whatever that we're xenophobic, or tell us all kind of, or talk about the same thing we talking about without the message. You remember the girl that was talking about reparations with Ben and Jerry's? She ran around. She was in one goddamn sitcom. How the f did she come around? She don't know nothing. Max, she played a lawyer on TV. She wasn't a lawyer in life. God damn. I'm just saying all the weirdest stuff about reparations. Then nobody watched that documentary. You know why? Because me and Yvette, we wasn't really pushing the line on it. Let me let you go, Carlos. Keep going.
Hey.
Oh, thank you, man. I'm trying to get to everybody, get everybody a chance to speak. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, Tony? This is L. I just to answer your question, man, I totally agree that, you know, somebody like Diddy is more than, you know, it's not far-fetched to think that he'd be capable of doing something like that. But I wanted to piggyback off of what some of the other callers said about, you know, the timing of all of this with the NDAs with his artists, but also the whole Cassie case, you know, and his being implicated in the Tupac murder, and you know, I just thought I had a question. What do you think that there's anything to be said about that? There's the coincidences of all of this dirt that's on this man's name that's coming up right now, all at the same time. You know, I remember growing up. You know, we were vehement that he was, you know, the one that you know, commissioned that hit on Tupac. You know what I'm saying? And now,
I don't like to speak to speculation. So you asked me a question, so I'm gonna answer that. My answer is, I look at this Diageo thing and I just wonder, without the wealth, the girth of Diageo, I don't think people understand. So you guys perceive some of these people as individually self-made people. I see them entirely differently. And I'm saying to you, the girth of who Diageo was and him being tied into that, I don't know how much impact that had and his ability to maneuver in the society for much longer than he was an actual artist. That Diageo tie-in and selling that Ciroc, that was in all the stores, not the liquor stores, the stores. I'm saying to you, I don't know if that has a role. I'm just saying that in the end, it's a lot going on all at once. Caller, I'm gonna let you go. I want to get to one last caller. Thank you so much for calling in. Let me get to the last caller tonight. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Give me your take on it. Sound like you got that the way to end the show out. I hear it already.
We just don't end it. You know what, Tom? I'm so proud of all these celebrities. As far as Puffy, if he goes, he needs to go by any means necessary. You've been on here long enough and just explaining to us like what it is and what they don't do, just the decadent veil and just how they're just distractions. They need to go. I'm sorry, they're trash.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? You seem like you can answer this for me. Why do people got? I asked it kind of earlier in the middle of the show, and it really ties in. God bless her soul. I don't know her, but Aaliyah is a perfect example. If she died in 2001, why are all these high schoolers wearing her shirt at school?
Because exactly what you said. We don't have wealth, but we have culture. So all we got to hold on is to 1 in a million. That's it. That's all we can do is just have nostalgia because we don't have anything else. And we need to let that go, period. And it's, like I said, and you know, they were great at one time, but at current state and what we need is just trash right now. They all need to go, and it's all fun. I'm that generation, and it was a time, but it just was a time that just needs to go. Get over it, and we have to move forward, especially for those of us who have children. And you're still putting your kids into things from 30 years. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you dress your kid in something from 30 years ago?
Yeah, and also they have no, like if it was like 10 years ago, meaning like literally, that means everybody that's in high school, like if you died 20 years ago, because the oldest high school would probably be like 18, everybody in high school was not alive when she died. Now somebody would say,
exactly.
I mean, she had a song or maybe. I mean, it just points to, I think, a craze around celebrity that we're not really diagnosing. And I think this ties into this because we can't see people.
You wearing a Diana Ross
shirt. Diana Ross alive, right? She's still alive, at least. Lord, talk about it. No, but I'm saying at least think about that. How bad you had to go to that example, and at least everybody like her daughter and her daughter on TV. Like this is somebody who has no connection to these people that are alive. It's a sort of celebrity mania and craze that we're not really digesting. Hey, I'm gonna let you go and end out the show. That was a great end to the show. Let me ask you just to tie in the show. If these allegations are true, how does that leave you feeling about Diddy?
Like I said, I don't feel no type of way. It is what it is. He needs to go by any means necessary.
Should he go to jail?
Diddy has been having a certain reputation, and for years and years and years, and just people just have ignored it because he's Diddy. These things are not new. These accusations have been around for years. Certain things, I don't know if it's true or not specifically in this case, but it's possible it's not. I'm sorry, I'm sick of it. He needs to go.
Should he go to jail too? It sounds like he should go to jail. Should he go to jail?
If they are true, yes, he should.
I agree. This little young baby. Caller, let me let you go. Thank you so much. So again, this is Tone Talks. Please go to tonetalks.net to subscribe, donate, and share. I wanted to have a discussion where we lay out the facts as alleged, where we lay out the law, both statute of limitations criminally, and also why she brought this case now in terms of a specific law there in New York for civil claims involving sexual abuse that was open, and also to give people a floor to have a productive discussion and get away from the manosphere or the ultra black feminism that taints this discussion and takes it away from how we should be looking at this man and the accusations this woman is making against him. Thank you so much.